When Princess Diana stepped out in the revenge dress wearing a reconstructed sapphire choker on the exact night her husband admitted to infidelity, she wasn't just accessorizing. When Kate Middleton deliberately clasped the late Queen Elizabeth II's four-row pearl necklace around her neck during the monarchy's most turbulent transitions, it was not merely a fashion choice. And when Queen Letizia of Spain steps out in a pair of inexpensive Zara earrings amidst financial scandals surrounding the former king, it is a calculated political maneuver. In the deeply guarded world of royalty, women are rarely permitted to speak their minds. They cannot give tell-all interviews, hold press conferences to clear the air, or take to social media to defend their character. Instead, they open their jewelry vaults. The true weight of a royal tiara is never measured in carats or auction values. It is measured in the silent rebellions, the political strategies, and the heavy expectations carried by the women who wear them. This is not about aesthetics or matching beautiful diamonds to a designer evening gown. It is a highly sophisticated, silent war of power. Before we decode these silent battles, a quick reminder. This report is carefully compiled from various respected press sources and historical archives, bringing you the hot, hidden corners of the palace that few people ever get to see. If there is any information you feel is inaccurate, or if you simply have a different perspective on these historical and modern moments, please leave a polite comment below so we can discuss it together. For centuries, the public has been conditioned to view royal jewelry through the lens of a fairy tale. We see the brilliant cut of a diamond and instantly imagine a life of endless privilege and effortless grace. We focus on the sparkle, the glamour, and the romantic endings. But behind the heavy velvet doors of the palace, a completely different reality exists. These extraordinary pieces are functional instruments of diplomacy and vital tools for survival. Every single time a royal woman steps onto a balcony, exits a car, or attends a state banquet, she knows that millions of eyes and high-definition lenses are zooming in on her lapel and her earlobes. The public and the global press are constantly searching for clues. She is fully aware that a vintage brooch can stabilize an anxious public during a time of national crisis, just as a redesigned heirloom can serve as a subtle, elegant warning to the institution itself that she will not be easily controlled. We are witnessing a masterclass in visual communication, where cold stones and precious metals are forced to do the heavy emotional and political lifting that official press releases simply cannot achieve. Imagine the psychological reality of wearing these items. A modern woman marrying into royalty does not just inherit a prestigious title. She inherits the physical artifacts of the women who came before her. When she wears a heavy diamond collar, she is wearing the exact same stones that witnessed historic peace treaties, royal births, and intensely private heartbreaks generations ago. The pressure to live up to the legacy of that stone is immense. The physical weight of the metal on her shoulders and the intricate settings that demand perfect, unyielding posture act as a beautiful burden. The ultimate question for every royal woman is whether she will be defined by the history of the jewel, or if she possesses the strength and the vision to redefine it for her own era. In a world where absolute power is often cloaked in absolute silence, there is no need for grand speeches to declare one's rightful place. The hierarchy of the palace is established long before a single word is spoken. It is written in the quiet, undeniable language of pearls, rubies, and platinum. For the women stepping into the highest echelons of the monarchy, being granted permission to wear a specific piece from the royal vault is the clearest political manifesto they can offer. It is not merely a loan of beautiful gems. It is the ultimate proof of inheritance. When a royal woman wears an iconic historical piece, it serves as an unspoken confirmation to the public, the press, and the inner circle of the court that she has been chosen to carry the weight of the crown into the future. Nowhere is this silent transfer of power more evident than in the recent journey of Catherine, Princess of Wales. The British monarchy has weathered an unprecedented series of storms in recent years, following the monumental loss of Queen Elizabeth II and the intense, deeply personal health challenges that the royal family faced throughout 2024 and early 2025. The institution found itself navigating a period of profound vulnerability. In these fragile moments, the Princess of Wales did not rely on modern fashion to make her stand. Instead, She reached deep into the personal, heavily guarded collection of the late Queen. Consider her deliberate use of the iconic 4-row pearl choker, featuring a stunning diamond clasp. This is not just a beautiful necklace, it is a piece woven into the very fabric of modern royal history. The Queen wore it to state banquets, Princess Diana wore it to formal engagements. By clasping this exact piece around her own neck during times of national mourning and critical diplomatic events, Kate is physically binding herself to the legacy of the longest reigning monarch in British history. She also frequently chooses the Queen's century-old diamond drop earrings, pieces that hold the quiet dignity of a bygone era. This is not a stylistic coincidence or a simple tribute. It is a strategic, highly visible display of continuity. When the public sees Kate wearing these specific heirlooms, they are not just looking at a modern princess, they are looking at the steady, unbroken line of the Windsor dynasty. She uses these pearls and diamonds to calm a worried nation. The jewellery acts as a shield and a statement, projecting a message that is both comforting and fiercely authoritative. The institution stands firm, the lineage is secure, and the monarchy continues safely through her. Moving across Europe to the Danish court, we witness a different, yet equally masterful, use of jewellery to establish legitimacy. When Mary Donaldson left Australia, she brought no aristocratic titles and no ancestral tiaras. Yet, when she ascended as Queen Consort alongside King Frederick X in early 2024, her transition was remarkably seamless. This flawless integration was largely because Queen Mary has mastered the political art of royal jewellery, using it to build a bridge between her modern origins and the deep history of her new homeland. There is no greater evidence of this than her relationship with the Danish ruby parure. This spectacular set of jewels featuring a breathtaking tiara, necklace, and earrings woven with diamond leaves and vibrant red rubies is a vital piece of European history, tracing its origins all the way back to the coronation of Napoleon Bonaparte. For a woman born in Tasmania, wearing such a historically heavy, fiercely traditional set of jewels is a strategic masterstroke. It acts as a powerful political talisman. Each time she wears those rubies, she visually claims her place within the centuries-old Scandinavian royal narrative. She tells the Danish people that she respects their past enough to carry its weight on her shoulders. But Queen Mary also understands that true legitimacy in the modern era requires more than just wearing ancient stones. During her recent international tours, she made headlines by seamlessly integrating sustainable recycled jewellery into her wardrobe. By pairing the historic weight of the Napoleonic rubies for state events with modern, eco-conscious pieces for global diplomacy, she sends a brilliant dual message. She proves her absolute right to be queen. She reveres the deep heritage of the palace, but she is firmly steering the monarchy toward a sustainable future. While some royal women use these magnificent jewels to prove they belong to the system, others find an entirely different use for the contents of the royal vault. For them, a diamond is not a symbol of submission or continuity, it is a weapon. In the highly structured world of the monarchy, conformity is not merely an expectation, it is a strict requirement for survival. Yet, history has shown us that some royal women refuse to be confined by the polite expectations of their supporting roles. When the pressure of palace life becomes too heavy, they turn to their jewellery boxes to stage a brilliant, wordless rebellion. Princess Margaret, the dazzling and famously unpredictable younger sister of Queen Elizabeth II, was a master of this art. She was not content to simply borrow from the family's historical archives and wear what she was told. She wanted to own her brilliance. The ultimate symbol of her defiance was the magnificent Poltimore tiara. By royal tradition, a bride is typically loaned a tiara from the reigning monarch's vault for her wedding day. Margaret rejected this tradition entirely. In 1959, she quietly purchased the towering Victorian-era Poltimore tiara herself at a public auction. By buying her own crown, Margaret delivered a brilliant, silent manifesto. Her splendor was hers to control. When she wore it, she was making a towering declaration of her own independence. The true, provocative power of this tiara was cemented years later in a famous royal portrait where she was pictured wearing the spectacular diamond tiara while soaking in a bathtub. It was a breathtakingly confident, deeply sophisticated dismissal of Buckingham Palace's rigid protocols. She transformed it into a permanent emblem of fearless modern glamour. Decades later, Princess Diana understood the visual language of the royal family better than anyone. As she transitioned from a shy young bride into a confident, independent woman, she began to use the palace's own jewels against the rigid expectations placed upon her. The most striking example is the legendary sapphire and pearl choker. Originally, the enormous sapphire was a brooch given to Diana as a wedding present by the Queen Mother. A traditional, compliant royal daughter-in-law would have pinned it dutifully to a conservative coat lapel. But Diana took this conservative gift, dismantled its intended purpose, and had it remounted as the bold centerpiece of a daring 7-strand pearl choker. The absolute climax of this silent rebellion occurred on a summer night in 1994. On the very evening Prince Charles confessed his infidelity on national television, Diana stepped out to a gala at the Serpentine Gallery wearing the off-the-shoulder black silk masterpiece that would forever be known as the revenge dress, and resting perfectly against her collarbone was the sapphire choker. By wearing that specific piece on that specific night, Diana delivered a devastatingly elegant message. She took a wedding gift from the very family that had caused her so much pain and wore it as a piece of armor. She proved to the world and to the palace that while they could try to control her circumstances, she alone controlled her image and her destiny. But what happens when the smartest move a queen can make is not to wear the biggest diamond, but to leave the vault completely locked? For some queens, the ultimate display of power isn't about how many carats they can balance on their heads. It's about the strategic absence of them. In times of national hardship or institutional crisis, flaunting historical wealth can be a fatal mistake. For these queens, survival depends on a completely different strategy. They must master the art of restraint. Queen Letizia of Spain is arguably the greatest living practitioner of this strategy. Her approach to the royal jewelry vault is not about vanity. It is about political survival. When King Felipe VI ascended to the throne, the Spanish monarchy was navigating treacherous waters, scarred by financial controversies surrounding the former king. In response, Letizia deployed a brilliant, highly calculated form of visual diplomacy. She adopted a rigid minimalism, stepping out to official engagements, wearing accessible Spanish high street brands like Zara or Mango, paired with inexpensive, delicate earrings. She was using her wardrobe to signal a clean break from the excesses of the past, sending a clear message. We understand the economic realities, we respect your struggles, and we are not the monarchy of the past. But the true genius of her strategy lies in its duality. She is a master of the high-low political game. When the moment calls for an undeniable assertion of royal power, such as a critical state banquet, the minimalism vanishes. Letizia unlocks the joyas de pasar, the legendary collection strictly reserved solely for the queens of Spain. Suddenly, she transforms into an untouchable monarch, wearing the towering fleur-de-lis tiara. By rationing her use of these historical treasures, she maximizes their impact. She proves that she is in absolute control of the narrative, using humility to survive the scandals and deploying spectacular diamonds to protect the majesty of the throne. While Letizia uses minimalism to navigate political storms, other royal women use their jewelry choices to actively rewrite their own personal narratives. Consider Princess Sofia of Sweden. When she first entered the royal orbit, her background as a reality television star made her the subject of intense media scrutiny. When it came time for her wedding in 2015, she did not borrow an ancient, imposing piece from the Bernadotte family vault. Instead, she wore the palmette tiara, a brand new gift from the king and queen. Politically, it was a masterful statement of a fresh start. What followed was an unprecedented approach to royal jewelry. Instead of treating the palmette tiara as a rigid artifact, Sophia began to actively redesign it, swapping the original emeralds for pearls, then vibrant turquoise. This constant, confident altering of a royal crown is incredibly rare. She is telling the world, I respect the framework of this institution, but I have the right to adapt it to fit who I truly am. But her most powerful jewelry moment occurred not at a glittering gala, but during the darkest days of the global pandemic. Princess Sophia removed the diamonds, took off the designer gowns, and underwent emergency medical training. The images that defined her that year featured her wearing blue medical scrubs and a simple hospital ID badge pinned to her chest. In that moment, that plastic volunteer badge became the most powerful, influential piece of jewellery in the entire Swedish kingdom. By stripping away every expectation of royal glamour and offering her raw, unfiltered service, she conquered the historical weight of the dynasty, not by conforming to it, but by redefining what it means to serve. As we look at the headlines unfolding right now, in mid-April 2026, this silent war of power is playing out in real time. The royal jewellery vault remains the most active, highly scrutinised political battleground in Europe. Reports from established royal correspondents have highlighted a quiet but monumental shift within Buckingham Palace. It is widely understood that King Charles III has been steadily granting Catherine, the Princess of Wales, unprecedented access to and control over the broader royal jewellery collection. By placing the curation of these priceless historical assets into Kate's hands, the King is actively using her global popularity to stabilise the Crown's image, visually assuring the public that the monarchy's future is safe. Meanwhile, Queen Mary of Denmark captured the attention of the global press during a recent diplomatic tour by choosing to wear striking, modern pieces, crafted entirely from recycled gold and ethically sourced stones. She used her accessories to align the Danish monarchy with the future, proving she is a queen deeply invested in environmental sustainability. In Spain, Queen Letizia continues her masterclass in visual control. At a major international summit this April, she deployed a single, ancient brooch from the heavily guarded Joyas de Passar collection, subtly pinned to a sharp, ultra-modern tailored suit. She reminded every dignitary in that room that behind her accessible exterior lies the absolute, untouchable authority of the Spanish throne. And in Sweden, Princess Sofia stepped out at an international cybersecurity summit, wearing a beautifully minimalist necklace crafted from humanium metal, a material forged from melted down, seized illegal firearms. Rumours are currently circulating in the European press that Sofia may soon be granted permission to wear the legendary Braganza tiara. While crossing this specific line of protocol is highly unlikely, the mere fact that the public is entertaining the idea proves she has entirely conquered the historical prejudices of her past. The heavy iron doors of the palace vaults are now preparing to open for a completely new generation of women, the future queens regnant, who are born to wear the crown. Princess Leonor, the future Queen of Spain, has deliberately avoided the heavy, intimidating jewels of the past, opting for contemporary, affordable Spanish brands. She is sending a clear message to the youth. She understands that a modern queen must first be a relatable citizen. Royal watchers are holding their breath, waiting for her official tiara debut, which will be the first major political decree of her future reign. In Norway, the two-year-old Princess Ingrid Alexandra is stepping directly into the heavy responsibilities of the crown. The Norwegian court has chosen to physically anchor their future queen in the undeniable weight of history. When she made her state banquet debut wearing the magnificent Boucheron pearl circle tiara, the palace sent a direct, stabilizing message to the nation, linking this modern young woman directly to the ancient, unbroken lineage of the Nordic kings and queens. As we watch these young heirs gracefully accept these extraordinary gifts, we must also recognize the psychological reality of their inheritance. When a princess lowers her head to accept a historical tiara, she is accepting a life of absolute, uncompromising duty. She is binding herself to a rigid set of expectations that will dictate her life forever. This is the beautiful, haunting paradox of the royal jewellery vault. These pieces are universally admired as the ultimate symbols of wealth and fairy tale romance. Yet, for the women who are actually required to wear them, they are tools of work. They are heavy, intricate instruments of diplomacy used to navigate political scandals, soothe anxious nations, and quietly fight back against the suffocating constraints of palace protocol. A crown can be inherited, and a title can be bestowed by law. But true authority in the palace is never simply handed over. It is carefully, strategically earned by how a woman chooses to bear the crushing weight of her position. The true power of the monarchy does not lie in the stones themselves, but in the incredible resilience of the women who are strong enough to carry them. The ultimate luxury of the royal family is never the wealth they possess. It is the illusion of ease they project, because absolute power is never free. It is paid for with the currency of personal freedom, negotiated through the silent, rigid rules of protocol, and perfectly, flawlessly concealed beneath the breathtaking beauty of history's most famous jewels. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the hidden world of royal diplomacy. As a reminder, the insights and historical moments shared in this report have been carefully compiled from respected global press sources and historical archives up to April 2026. The world of royalty is complex, and the interpretation of these silent signals is always evolving. If you noticed a detail we missed, or if you have a different perspective on how these powerful women use their jewelry, please leave a polite comment below. We would love to hear your thoughts.